Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today we're going to be talking about VSCO. Let's get right into it. So what is VSCO? Well, let me just give you a background before I get into it. In the digital age, we have, what I've noticed is we have digital mimicking film. If you watch a lot of theatrical movies, you'll see that a lot of these movies have a certain color or tint to the picture, depending on if it's a dated movie or if it's a new movie. Sometimes even the new movies have this bluish tint or this greenish tint, depending on the scene, depending on what's happening in the movie. And VSCO are a collection of film stock. So I'm not going to give you guys all the fine details of film stock, but basically different types of films, whether it's Kodak or Canon. I'm talking about the actual film that goes into the camera. Different types of films have different types of looks or colors. So VSCO basically is it's a plugin company. They create plugins for both, well, primarily for the computer when you talk about Lightroom and I think they do Aperture as well. But they create these film looks for your pictures. So again, digital is mimicking analog, or digital pictures are mimicking the pictures that were used with those cameras that use film. So it's a mimicking of that color effect and filter. And there's actually an Android and iPhone app. So what this does actually for people who have these phones is gives them the ability to now grade their pictures so it has a more of a vintage or filmic look, or a color that looks more natural, or some people say organic. So why are we talking about this today? What's so important about VSCO? But if you haven't noticed, there is a huge industry in online apps. I don't know how you won't be able to notice that, but there's a huge industry in apps, whether it's for your phone, whether it's for your tablet, or even if it's for the computer. I'm not talking about applications in the traditional sense of, like something like Photoshop or something like Microsoft Word. I'm talking about applications that download from the web, either from an app store or straight from the developer. So what companies like Apple have done is they've actually created their own Macintosh application store, not for the phone, but for the computer itself. And you can get a lot of apps that's on the phone for your Mac, because even though the platforms are similar, even though the Mac and the phone are similar, there are some differences. So anyway, there's this huge explosion of apps, and VSCO, this is why we're talking about. VSCO is one of those apps, and what's happening is there is I guess you can call it a breaking apart of the professionals from the professionals to the consumer. Basically, the consumer is getting a lot of the features and the tools that the professionals use. And vice versa, professionals can take some of those simple tools and use them in their workflow. So for example, I'll give you a small example. I don't particularly think the iFi, it's basically a wireless SD card that goes into your camera, whichever camera supports SD cards. And once you put the iFi into your camera, you can actually transmit pictures straight from your camera, to your computer. Well, in this case, it would be, because your computer will connect to the iFi. It acts like a Wi-Fi hotspot. Your computer will connect to the Wi-Fi, the iFi, E-Y-E-F-I. It'll connect to it, and as you take a picture, it transfers that picture through the Wi-Fi connection straight to the computer. And people can actually do this with their iPads too. So the iPad connects to the iFi, which is in your camera. The camera powers it, and they're actually transmitting the picture straight from their camera to the iPad. So it's a consumer product because professionals use it, but primarily there hasn't been, as far as I can see, hasn't been a professional version. If I look it up right now, there hasn't been a professional version that has been created. A lot of consumers use it, but a lot of professionals use it too. So this is why we're talking about VSCO. VSCO is designed for iPhone, which has, in a sense, become a professional tool because people use it for phone calls, people use it for maybe sometimes billing. Like you want to bill a client, you bill them straight from your phone. You want to take a signature for model release, you can do it straight from your phone. Someone can use their finger and they can sign saying, I give you permission. So there are many, many reasons why a phone is a professional device. But now, VSCO, I actually incorporated into my workflow. A little secret. So I take a picture, and depending on how much effort I want to put in at the time, if I want to manually for a couple of days or a couple of hours or maybe sometimes half an hour, if I want to spend time color grading that picture, I'll go into Photoshop, I'll use Lightroom, whatever the case might be. But sometimes I don't have a concept, because it's not just the application of what you're doing, it's actually have an idea, because you don't want to just do something, you want to understand the why. So this is why we're talking about it today, because I've actually incorporated it into my workflow. And I've used it because I haven't found a way yet to export the full high resolution pictures that my camera takes, which is about 5,000 pixels in width and about 3,000 pixels in height. I haven't found a way to export those pictures raw from the VSCO iPhone app back to my computer, because that's basically my workflow. I take the picture with the camera, bring it into the Mac, convert it to JPEG. I may do some light, retouching of the lights and darks, and I send it to through iMessage through my iPhone. It's a little complicated. Open up iMessage on the iPhone, save the picture into my photo library, and then open it up in VSCO. Now with the release of Mac OS Yosemite, I'll be able to use AirDrop to send the picture back and forth. So once I go into VSCO on the phone, I can scrub through the different filters they have and apply a filter to the picture, and then send it back to the computer, and then post it or do whatever I want to do with it. A bit of a workflow, but it's a bit of a workaround, but it still helps me achieve what I want to achieve. So let's say, for example, let's say I took 10 pictures today at a outdoor event. Let's say it's a park. Someone's in a park, they're getting engaged, or someone's in a park and they're reading a book. They're creating like a commercial look for Facebook. They have a Facebook page and they want to create a commercial look. I'll take the picture. Let's say I take 10 pictures and I'm getting ready to leave to head to another meeting. I can take all 10 pictures, send it to my phone, and while I'm on the road, I can actually grade those pictures. This is what I'm trying to show you guys. A professional tool that can be used wherever you are. Now, we'll say that VSCO is used also in Lightroom. It's a plugin that you can actually install. It's a bunch of looks that you can install. And once you have those looks installed, you can just select them within Lightroom as you're working on your pictures. Now, one disclaimer I'll say, this is not an application, even though a lot of people will use it like that, where you just click a filter. Sometimes I click a filter because I'm not sure what it's going to look like, but you want to achieve the look that you have in mind. So if you've shot something and you want it to be, maybe it's a child is happy, you want it to be a happy picture, you shouldn't use a dark filter or a washed out look if the child needs to be in a happy setting or you want to create a happy mood. If you want to create something more serious and more thoughtful, maybe you'll use the desaturated look with a tint of green or blue, whatever color that fits it. So you want to be selective. And I will do some more tutorials on how to use VSCO, and how to grade in Lightroom and After Effects and Photoshop. So those things are going to be coming up in the near future. But I would highly recommend VSCO. Now, I believe it's a free app. Yes, it is a free app. It should be free on Android too. It's a free app. It's called VSCO Cam on the iTunes Store. And let's see what it looks like. It's called VSCO Cam on the Google Store as well. So check it out. Get some of your pictures in there. Export them back to the computer. Take a look at them. See if the quality is degraded. It shouldn't. And give me your thoughts and comments. But it's a highly recommended app. And they're constantly releasing new filters. So check it out. And I'm going to post some pictures I've used to... I'm going to put some pictures up right now that I've used in the VSCO app. Until next time, this is Sewell.